Not far below Niagara Falls is a whitewater section of the Niagara River, affectionately known as the Devil's Hole. This short but super sloppy stretch of river comes by its name naturally. Let's just say fishing the Devil's Hole is not for the faint of heart. This week's episode finds Mark Romanack of Fishing 411 targeting Steelhead with his longtime friend Captain Matt Yablonsky. The weather is lousy and the fishing is super tough, but thanks to Matt's unique spawn drifting techniques, the pair boats some amazing steelhead. The steelhead fishing techniques commonly used on the Niagara River are unlike any other fishery. A visit to the Niagara River's famous Devil's Hole should be on the bucket list of every angler who enjoys targeting these silver bullets.
So what we have here, we've got some brown trout eggs tied in some pink mesh with a little pink float. And then we've got the same color here, same thing with a chartreuse float. Sometimes the chartreuse is better than pink, sometimes pink's better than chartreuse, depending on what they want to see. So we're gonna give it a shot. So if you put the hook just in a little bit of the mesh right by the float, then that float stays up, keeps the hook up off the bottom. That's all you need right there.
Very cool. Now, are you running scent on these two, or are you just running them because they're going to milk anyway?
I do have some scent on them.
Okay. All right, so you've already scented them.
I've already scented those.
Okay. Well, let me flesh things out here a little bit. We're fishing on the Niagara River with my friend and legendary guide, Matt Yablonsky from Wet Net Charters. And we're doing something a little different. You know, we've been on the Niagara River a number of times here and had a lot of great times. But usually we're plug fishing. Today we are not. Today we are fishing spawn in a three-way setup that's very unique. How unique? I've never done this in my entire life, and I've fished steelhead for as long as I can remember. A very unique situation, and it's kind of cool for me because I'm learning the game as we go today. You know, at my age, you'd like to think that maybe I've done it all. I'm here to tell you, I haven't done this before, and this is really, really cool. Let me get my line out of the water.
Ooh, he tried to get into the motor on me, didn't he?
He set the hook. Matt sets the hook, and 2 seconds later, he says he's got one, and I look over, and the fish is jumping on my side of the boat.
He's right on your boat. Wait till you see this tanker. This is a big boy.
It's a good fish. Yeah,
it's a real good fish.
Out of the water. It's a beautiful fish.
We're just tapping along, and it whacked it.
Wow. You can see why people love the Niagara River. Man, that is something else.
Yep, and these fish are
We're gonna get a look at it right here.
The size of this beast.
If you back up just a smidge, man, I can get in here and maybe do the honors for you. Oh, he ain't ready.
He's not ready yet.
He ain't ready yet.
No, I got him hooked good, so I'm not worried about that.
You don't want to give up.
No. Now the water temperature is not super cold yet. It's just that right temperature where they've got all their energy.
And these are powerful fish.
They are.
There's no two ways around it. He keeps wanting to come up right underneath the boat.
Yes, he does.
Oh, you're getting your money's worth. You are getting your money's worth, man.
I gotta come to the back. I gotta go around. Oh, going around.
Round robin.
You You guys notice I'm dipping the rod in the water. You know, there's a lot of motors. There's 3 motors on this boat, and these fish go wherever they want to go. You don't want to get them in a motor. Drop that rod tip, I was almost to the reel, and I saved him from catching that outboard on the way back through to this side of the boat.
Well, you did good, my friend, you did good. I'm gonna see if I can't sneak in here and get a little bit low. That's what I want. If he can turn his head, oh, I thought he was gonna come towards us.
You just gotta wait him out. You can't force them. You don't want to horse these fish or pull them, especially a fish of this size.
That caliber, there you go.
Good job, Mr. Mark.
You, my friend, have just caught yourself a stellar
That's
fish.
beautiful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is awesome. Hold him up for people,
Being
man.
a guide on the Niagara, I don't get to land many fish, so
Well,
this is a treat.
Hopefully you get to land a lot more today, because that is a stellar fish, my friend.
Don't want to hurt this guy. There we go. All right. What do you think? It's our first bite of the day. Big, beautiful male. Look at the pink stripe on him. He's got a lot of colors. This is probably a 3-4-year-old steelhead. Nice little kipe on there. And he's a beauty. He's ready.
Special considerations are provided by Cisco Fishing Systems and Striker brands. Go early, go late, go prepared. Additional considerations provided by Fishhawk Electronics. Trolling without a fishhawk is called boating.
Well, let's take a second and talk a little about the rig that works so well here on the Niagara River. It's a basic 3-way swivel setup. Your main line is going to be a braided material. We recommend about a 10-pound test. Then you're going to have a dropper line that goes to a pencil weight, and that's going to be about an 8-pound test fluorocarbon. The reason for that is that if you do snag bottom, you want to be able to break off the sinker, not lose the whole setup. But your leader back to your spawn bag is also going to be fluorocarbon, and that's going to be about 8-pound test as well. And it's going to be about 5 feet long. And on the terminal end, a hook. And I'm talking a very small hook, about a number 12. And the reason for that is you want the hook so light that it doesn't change the action of the spawn bag, that the spawn bag floats naturally through the current. So you can't use a big hook here. A number 12 hook is going to be the ideal setup. That's going to catch you a lot of steelhead and maybe a bonus brown trout and even a lake trout here on the Niagara River.
I'm going to run the pink float egg. So the hook stands out, the float keeps that hook up off the bottom. So what you want to do here, we're only in about 16 feet of water, so you only need 16 feet of line out. Just let it go a little bit, lift it up, keep that sinker off the bottom, and then work it down until you feel it tick. Once you feel it tick, just lift it up and let it ride. What we're doing is we're not bottom bouncing. That sinker is a bottom finder. It helps you find the bottom. Once you find the bottom, lift that sinker up so you don't feel anything. The feel you're trying to feel is no feel at all. If it's constantly ticking and dragging, you're just pulling your eggs through the rocks instead of letting them float over top of the rocks. Trying to get a natural presentation, I call it match the hatch. Any eggs that are in the river will just be floating down the river. So you want your eggs to do the same thing. Yeah, right now, the salmon are finishing up. Most of them are done spawning, but there are some salmon spawning. So this area here where we're fishing is where the salmon run is. There's a lot of salmon eggs in the river, in this part of the river. We go down below the bridge a little bit. That's where the lake trout spawn. So there's lake trout eggs in the river down there. You go even closer to the lake, the brown trout are spawning. So the brown trout are eating, dropping eggs. So right now, an egg bite is really good because that's kind of a match the hatch. The fish are in here eating eggs because you've got salmon eggs, lake trout eggs, and brown trout eggs. They've kind of got a smorgasbord. So once those eggs kind of deposit into the rocks and they eat the ones that they can't get to, then it switches over to more of a minnow and plug bite. So good time of the year to run eggs.
There is a fish. But this one is not going to be the monster that yours is. It's quality fish though.
Still a quality fish.
Oh, I'm starting to get the hang of this just a little bit. Wow. This is so much fun.
Isn't it fun?
This is absolutely a
This is
riot.
one of my favorite. I'm
gonna back up here and see what happens here, but
that's still a gem of a fish, Mark.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But after you kind of set the bar pretty high here.
Yes, I did.
Pretty high indeed. So we'll just have to be satisfied with something a little bit smaller.
Well,
but certainly fun. Well, geez, like you said, it's not that much smaller, is it?
No.
You get a better look at him here.
It's a nice hen.
Yeah. Maybe she's tired.
Maybe she's tired.
Maybe she's tired. Whoa. All right, we'll just keep on her here.
Yep.
I think maybe, oh, I thought I had her head for you right there.
She was
really
coming.
Did. I thought I had it coming.
Shook. When she's ready, we'll get her.
Nice dip. Nice dip. What a beautiful fish.
Look at that.
Well, like we've said a little bit here, we're on the Niagara River, but we're actually in what's called Devil's Hole.
Devil's Hole.
And it's one of the more unique places of the river. But that's what you come to the Niagara River for, is to catch steelhead just like that. I'm curious, Matt, we've caught quite a few steelhead in the Niagara River now. That seems to be about the average fish. Is that an accurate assessment?
Yeah, that's an average size fish. What I was told by the New York State DEC is the fish that run the river are average 2 to 3 year old fish.
Okay.
So that one was probably a 2-year-old fish in that 5-6 pound range, average size fish, but we do get a lot of bigger fish around too.
What's your personal best, just out of curiosity?
I've caught one right here in Devil's Hole, was about 22-pound male. Yeah,
That is a stellar
you hold
fish.
it up and one fist, 2 fists, and his head was from the gill plate to the nose. You couldn't even measure it. It was an absolute monster.
So we'll just have to hope that maybe we see something like that. But right now, I'm pretty happy with that one.
Excellent. The boat control here is very, very important. You want the boat to be moving about the same speed as the current. So I judge the bubbles. You can see some bubbles out there by my rod tip. If they're staying the same speed as the boat, I know I'm going just right. If you have too much electric motor on, then your eggs get downriver and they're kind of swirling in the current. Not enough motor on, your eggs will be in front of your sinker and you'll be dragging them through the rocks. So you want the boat going the same speed as the water, no matter if it's going 1 mile an hour or 3 mile an hour. You want to match the speed of the water so your eggs just have a natural flow down through the river. Presentation is very, very important.
Special considerations are provided by Precision Trolling Data and the Lake St. Clair Walleye Association. Special considerations provided by the Ultimate Sport Show Tour, Michigan's elite sport shows. Eagle Claw presents the 411 on fishing.
You know, as Great Lakes anglers, we spend a lot of hours on the water using our kicker motor, more so than our big engine. You have to remember the big engine is getting us from point A to point B, but once we actually get to that fishing spot, we're putting the kicker motor down and we're putting a ton of hours on this kicker motor. So maintaining this kicker motor is extremely important. Now this is a new motor, so one of the things that you want to do if you're looking at a brand new Yamaha kicker motor is at 20 hours, you're going to go ahead and do an oil change. After that, you're going to be looking at an oil change every 100 hours. But here's something that's easier to keep in mind. If you fish a lot, you want to keep track of that 100 hours. If you're fishing just a few weekends out of the year, one of the things that I recommend is changing your fluids in your kicker motor every single season. That way you know when you are going into the new season, you'll have fresh fluids in your kicker motor to get you through the season. I'm going to show you today exactly how to change the oil on your Yamaha kicker motor. Super quick, super simple. So I'm going to go ahead and put these gloves on. The next thing you're going to need is a 12mm socket. And I have one sitting right here. And you'll see on the side of the kicker motor, there's actually a little bit of there's a nut right on the side of the kicker motor. That's going to be your drain. That's where the oil is going to come out of. So what I like to do is I like to actually crack the oil reservoir. And I unscrew this little yellow cap here. And then what I'll do is put the socket on the nut and go ahead and loosen that nut up. Okay, now that I got it starting to loosen up a little bit, what I'm going to do is reach down, I'm going to pick up my pan, and I'm kind of set it right underneath that little bolt there. And the reason for that is I don't want to pour oil all over the floor of my garage. But once you get it flowing, it's going to start coming out like it is right now. And you're just going to give it time to drain. You want to make sure you get all of that oil out of the motor. So we're going to go ahead and let all that oil drain right out of the motor, kind of let it drip dry until it's completely done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that nut right back in. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put brand new fresh oil inside the motor. This Yamaha kicker motor takes just over a quart, so I like to slowly feed it. Add a little bit of oil, check the dipstick. Add a little bit more oil, and check the dipstick again. When you get that full, that's pretty much all you have to do. And let me tell you, it's super easy to do the service on this motor with some basic hand tools. Anyone can do it inside their garage. If you take care of your Yamaha kicker, it's going to take care of you.
Fish on, says Matt. Fish on. Good
Sir.
deal. The timing's actually good on that because I was just actually, I just broke off, so I was out of the water anyway. So
Gave me a chance to get one.
yeah, there you go. I guess I am net man.
You are the net man. Got a little energy to him. I changed egg sac colors for this drift. We've been running pink all morning, and I said, well, we've had 3 or 4 drifts without a bite. I switched to chartreuse, and didn't make it through the first drift without a bite. So
I'm pretty sure you would agree with me here. Oh, I guess I got a little anxious there.
A little bit,
but it
it's
seems
all right.
to me that steelhead are more color sensitive than any of the other salmonids. They just definitely turn on and off to different colors like no other. A little closer.
Coming.
Got her. There you
Got
go.
her.
Nice hen.
All right.
Very nice hen.
Beautiful.
Congratulations, man. That's a beautiful fish, man.
Thank you, sir. Got this nice steelhead here on this last drift. The rain started falling, so I switched from pink to chartreuse just to give them a little bit more color to look at, and it seemed like it made the difference.
Matt, there's always debate with steelhead fishing with spawn is whether you're using raw eggs or cured eggs in your spawn sacks. And I think I know the answer here, but I'd like to hear what you have to say about it.
My theory on this, Mark, is the eggs that are in the river, the salmon eggs, the brown trout eggs, the lake trout eggs, are uncured eggs. I want to match the hatch. I want my eggs to smell and look like the eggs that are in the river. So I don't cure any of my eggs. When I get them, I take them and I put them in a strainer, just let them dry a little bit, and I put them in Ziplocs and freeze them fresh. So I take a little bag out, I call them day packs. I take one out, tie my eggs for the day, always have fresh eggs. Seems to work pretty good for me.
So that works great for the guy who's on the river a lot and has access to eggs like you do all the time. But a guy that doesn't necessarily have access to eggs all the time is probably still kind of stuck and he has to cure them.
Yeah.
And so there's a niche there as well.
Yeah, there are some guys curing eggs, and it seems like later on in winter, with a cured egg, it doesn't seem to, in my opinion, doesn't milk as much. The eggs keep their clear orange color a lot better. So when the water is really clear in February, March, after the lakes freeze over, they look better, longer. They don't turn white, so could be an advantage for some guys.
You know, I agree with Matt that it is an egg bite here, there's no doubt about that. But the Niagara is unique in that they do have those multi-species that are here. You know, you've got lake trout, you've got salmon, both species of salmon, and of course you have steelhead all depositing eggs and brown trout depositing eggs here. But that's a rarity in the Great Lakes. There's not very many places where you see all of those fish running rivers. And so that's why in other different bodies of water, the bite might be a little bit different. But here, definitely, eggs are the day in, day out go-to. There's no question that there's a lot of fish eating eggs here, and eggs are the right bait to be using.
Special considerations are provided by Trailmaster Trailers and Daiwa Corporation. Special considerations are provided by Procure, ruthlessly effective bait sense.
Whoa, it's up.
You hooked up again, Matt?
It's a silver bullet, yep.
All righty. That's a beautiful thing.
It's a smaller, crazy one here. I think I made the right choice to switch to chartreuse.
Well, I think I will be doing the same.
I will be hooking you up.
I think that would be a very good idea.
Just wrapped up the line a little bit.
That's all
why
right.
it's
I
kinda
think we
active
got it
for
under
me.
control here.
Get over to you.
Nice job.
All right.
Very nice looking fish.
Sure. So we just caught this steelhead, and it has another line in its mouth. Someone had caught this earlier and broke it off.
You're not pointing your finger at me, are you?
Oh, I don't know, Mark.
Couldn't be
But
me.
you can see I got a chartreuse egg sac here. There's clouds cover. We got some rain. The water's getting a little bit more color. I switched to chartreuse. It's 2 fish and 2 drifts. Mark's begging for chartreuse sac, so I'm gonna hook him up. Well, the first half from where we started until about the rock, it stays about 15, 16 feet. So you can just kind of adjust it with the rod tip a little bit, just keeping that sinker above the bottom. Once you get down towards the lower end of the drift, it drops into a dip. It'll drop down about 4 feet. It stays there for a while, and then it comes back up. And those fish hang right on that first drop, right on that first rise. And then it's real shallow, and then there's a big drop down to about 22. So what you want to do is picture that sinker going down that drop just like a slinky going down steps. You want it to just tick, tick, tick right down the edge of that drop, because the fish are hanging right on the drop. The water's about 40, 42 degrees, so they're trying to conserve some energy. They don't want to be swimming around, moving around. They're tucked in behind those rocks, and they're not going to leave that spot to chase food, so you want your food to come right to them. We're running a six foot lead to our hook, so sometimes they'll hit it, and the fish will swim towards the sinker, and the boat will drift towards the fish, so you'll feel tap, tap, tap real quick, and then nothing. They're coming to the surface. So you'll just feel a little, usually 3 taps. If they hit it and they start swimming up, the best thing to do is just engage the reel and get up the slack. Once the line's tight and you feel the weight of the fish, give them a little hit. We're running braid, so there's not much stretch. You don't really need to overset the hook. We're using small hooks, You just need that point just to get in where it needs to be, and they're usually on pretty good. It's a nice steelhead we got here. Finally, the rain quit a little bit.
Ooh, baby. Oh, that's a chromer. That one looks like a nice silverfish. Nice silverfish. Look, is she gonna come over the...
I don't know, but
I'm in your way. I'm in your way, I hear you.
I didn't want to.
I don't know, but get out of the way, he says.
I was worried about that trolling motor getting in my way. Whoa. She's on fire.
I guess so.
I think, you know, the longer rods in a boat, they just get in the way. Here she comes.
Almost ready. I think she saw me in the net coming, is what
Yeah,
she saw.
she wasn't too happy about you in that net.
There we go, baby.
It's been a little tough go here for a while, but this nice male steely put up a great fight.
As you can see, the light's starting to fade on us, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Matt for taking us out today, showing us such a great time on the Niagara River. If you get an opportunity to come this direction and fish, you're going to want to look up Matt. We'll make sure in the credits you're going to be able to find his information for chartering. My name's Mark Romanack, and you've been watching Fishing 411. Stay tuned next week, same time, same place.
Closed captioning is provided by Lakeside Motorsports, Michigan's premier marine and power sports company. Fishing 411 is brought to you by Offshore Tackle, Lowrance Electronics, Starcraft Marine, Yamaha Outboards, Yakima Bait Company, Niagara Falls, USA, Smooth Moves, and Jay's Sporting Goods.
If I was ever going to have a reoccurring nightmare, it would be that I would be sucked down in Devil's Hole by the whirlpool. Lord knows where you'd pop up.